When you ignore her, she can't ignore you completely. A Stoic reflection on love, self-control, and inner fortitude. In the quiet chambers of the mind, where emotions rage like storms and desires pull us in directions we scarcely understand, there lies a truth as ancient as the stars. It is a truth whispered by the Stoics, those timeless philosophers who sought not to conquer the world, but to master themselves. This truth, unyielding and profound, teaches us that in love, as in all things, our greatest strength lies not in chasing, but in standing still. When you ignore her, when you cease to be enslaved by your longing for her attention or validation, she cannot ignore you completely. For in your silence, you become something greater. A man of fortitude, a soul unshaken by the tides of passion. Let us walk together through this labyrinth of thought, guided by the wisdom of Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Seneca. Let us unravel the threads of desire and discover how self-control in relationships can lead not only to inner peace, but to a love that is rooted in strength rather than neediness. The nature of desire, a Stoic diagnosis. Desire is a fire that consumes the soul. It blinds us to reason and enslaves us to external circumstances. Epictetus warned against this very thing when he said, "It is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." In relationships, we often find ourselves reacting rather than acting, chasing after affection, yearning for attention, and allowing our sense of worth to be dictated by another's gaze. But what is this yearning if not a surrender of our autonomy? The Stoics believe that true freedom lies in mastering our desires rather than being mastered by them. When you ignore her, not out of spite or manipulation, but out of a commitment to your own inner peace, you reclaim your freedom. You send a message not only to her, but to yourself. I am whole. I do not need external validation to complete me. The power of self-control. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his Meditations, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This principle is the cornerstone of Stoic philosophy and the key to understanding how ignoring someone can be an act of profound self-control rather than petty indifference. To ignore her does not mean to neglect her or treat her with cruelty. It means refusing to let your emotions dictate your actions. It means choosing silence over desperation, dignity over pleading. When you practice self-control in this way, you embody the very essence of Stoicism, the ability to remain calm and rational even in the face of intense emotional turmoil. Imagine yourself as a rock in the sea, a rock that remains unmoved as waves crash against it. This is what it means to be Stoic in love, steadfast, unyielding, and grounded in your own sense of worth. When she sees this strength in you, she cannot ignore it completely. For true strength is magnetic. It draws others toward it without effort or force. Overcoming destructive emotions. Love often brings with it a storm of destructive emotions: jealousy, insecurity, fear of rejection. These emotions can cloud our judgment and lead us down paths that are far from virtuous. Seneca wrote, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." How often do we torment ourselves with thoughts of what she might think or feel? How often do we let these imagined scenarios dictate our actions? The Stoic approach to overcoming these emotions is simple yet profound. Focus on what is within your control and let go of what is not. You cannot control her feelings or actions. You can only control your own response to them. When you ignore her, not out of anger but out of wisdom, you free yourself from the chains of destructive emotions. You rise above the chaos and find serenity within yourself. This serenity is not cold or unfeeling. It is warm and radiant, like the sun breaking through storm clouds. It is the kind of peace that makes others take notice. Not because you demand their attention, but because your presence exudes calmness and strength. The art of indifference. Indifference is often misunderstood as apathy or lack of care. But for the Stoics, indifference was a virtue, a way of detaching oneself from external circumstances, without losing compassion or humanity. Epictetus advised, "Make the best use of what is in your power and take the rest as it happens." In relationships, this means caring deeply without clinging desperately, loving fully without losing yourself in love's chaos. When you ignore her with stoic indifference, you are not turning away from love, but turning towards self-respect. You are saying, "I value myself enough to remain composed. I will not let my happiness depend on another's whims." This kind of indifference is powerful